Hi, this is Jim Ware. I'm speaking today with Sue Bingham and Bob Dusin, who are the co-authors of this really terrific book called Creating a High Performance Workplace. It's not complicated to develop a culture of commitment. The two of them are partners in the HPWP Consulting Group. Sue is one of the co-founders, and they are with me today to talk a little bit about why they wrote the book and what the core ideas of the book are, particularly those surrounding the assumptions that leaders make about the people they work with. So Sue and Bob, thanks very much for being with us today.
Well, I guess I could start because the idea of writing a book originated years ago, and it took me forever to get it done. And thank goodness for Bob, because having a co-author made it faster and easier to actually get it published. But I had spent a lot of years in organizations, some really well managed, some not so well managed. I was in a human resources role, but didn't like the traditional human resources approach, and looked at all the policies and practices and leadership behaviors that didn't make people feel good about themselves or feel good about the work they were doing. And I felt that was just a tragedy, that people would be spending 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day not feeling good about their contribution and what they were doing, and believed that there was a better way. Bob and I wanted to write the book because we wanted to let people know that leadership often can be improved based on your state of mind, based on your assumptions about people. So we wanted to really start with that as listen, folks, leadership isn't mysterious. It's not any of these things. It has to do with, do you believe people are good? Do you think they add value? And if you do, that causes you to behave a certain way. So that's why we started. We wanted leaders to look at their workforce, look at their teams through different eyes, through positive eyes, through value-added eyes. We do a workshop that essentially is able to change people's perspective about their workforce. And when you change their perspective and their assumptions, it changes their behavior.
That's really interesting. Bob, anything you want to add to just sort of the general motivation to get these ideas out there?
No, that was very well said. And, you know, we say a lot of times what we talk about isn't rocket science, and the subtitle says it's not complicated to create a culture of commitment. And you know, when we talk to people about this, there are a lot of ahas, like, you know, like they knew that maybe subconsciously in the back of their mind, they knew there was a better way, that maybe some of the things they weren't doing or aren't doing or could be done differently and better. And it's simply pointing it out to them and showing them how to do it a different way. And people realize it's not, like Sue said, it's not complicated or difficult or a big mystery, but we have to just find a way to actually do it and make it work.
I'm intrigued with the way you have started with this foundational thing, that it has to do with a leader's assumptions about the people he or she is working with. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I think I'm going to let Bob speak to that. He's excellent at that. What I would say to you is that we believe that's the foundation. That the foundation for any kind of leadership approach and training needs to start with having positive assumptions about people.
Well, the one thing, Jim, about positive assumptions is the overriding idea behind it is that our behaviors toward people, whether they're our employees or our coworkers, our assumptions about people drive that behavior. How we assume people are dictates how we act and interact with them, and our behavior then drives their behavior. So if we don't have positive assumptions, and look, if you've got say an employee that's proven that they're not trustworthy, or that they have certain things that need attention, that's different than just assumptions. Assumptions are assuming that people aren't very bright, or that they don't want to work really that hard, and they don't have integrity. Before we really even know whether that's true or not, we have that assumption. And so then all of our actions toward them Because if you think about it, Jim, if we assume somebody is not trustworthy, we're not going to give them very confidential information, right? So if we have that negative assumption to start with, we're not going to give them confidential information. And the more we do that, the more we withhold information, the more they become withdrawn. And they assume that we don't feel that they're valued, they're trustworthy, they're important. And it creates this spiral of negativity.
Powerful. Well, the nice thing is that your book includes a lot of stories. You each chapter kind of begins and ends with a little case study or a story. And the chapter that we excerpted for the article that is appearing in Work&Place is all about positive assumptions, which is what you've been talking about. And so I certainly hope that folks who listen to this video will turn around right away and read the article and go out and buy the book.
Oh, thank you, Jim. We sure hope so too, because it just makes for a better world.
Absolutely.